Alright guys, so this is the Google Pixel 4a and this is the OnePlus Nord. And so today's video, you may have been wondering which phone you should buy because these two are some of the most popular and best-selling budget phones of all time. So yeah guys, in today's video we'll be talking about which one you should probably buy and like which one's better for you and which one I would pick myself as a tech reviewer, as we do a lot of budget phones. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so I'm going to come right out the gate with basically what I think is the most important part of a smartphone. Use it every day, use it to do everything else on the phone, and that is the display. So this is basically the main thing I look for in a phone when I want to go buy a phone. The display is what I look for, and I honestly think the OnePlus Nord is quite far ahead just because of its high refresh rate. So if you didn't already know, the OnePlus Nord has a 90Hz refresh rate, and also the Google Pixel 4a has a 60Hz refresh rate. If you don't know what that means, basically refresh rate is how many times the screen refreshes every single second. So basically animations look smoother the higher the frame rate is, and also the OnePlus Nord has a 1.5 times higher refresh rate, so basically it refreshes 1.5 times faster, so it's quite considerable. I definitely do notice it. Honestly, the Pixel 4a's display isn't bad, it's pretty colour accurate. Both of them have rainbowing on different like off-axis angles, but the colour reproduction is really good. And for a budget phone, both these panels are really nice. Bear in mind the Pixel 4a is £30 cheaper in the UK, so obviously, you know, there are going to be some compromises, but OnePlus Nord, that's probably going to be what wins the display category. It's not really that much of a competition. Basically, the only main difference is the OnePlus Nord has a 0.6 increase in display size, so that's pretty considerable as well. If you like big phones, then you should probably pick up the Nord instead of the Pixel 4a, because the Pixel 4a is pretty small, not going to lie. But after you've got used to it, the Google Pixel 4a's display actually looks fine, so I don't really care that much about the display size anymore. Honestly, the Pixel allows for, like, because it's such a good form factor because of the small display. But I'm saying if you want a bigger phone, probably the OnePlus Nord in the display category, and also the OnePlus Nord has a better display overall. You still get some rainbowing off-axis, but it's very, very subtle, and you've got to like go proper off-axis, which you probably won't in day-to-day usage. Honestly, the chance that you're looking at your phone from like peeking under a table and like looking at your content, just look over the phone. You know, it's not hard, but the viewing angles are great anyway, and it's just that it rainbows on very, very steep angles. So yeah, basically great displays on both, but the OnePlus Nord edges out with its high refresh rate and bigger panel. But I do like the Pixel 4a size, which is a 5.8-inch display, and that makes for a really small body, and that's what I'm going to move on to next, which is basically the design. And honestly, the Pixel 4a has a great design. It is like small and compact, and it's plastic though. A lot of people don't like that's plastic, but honestly, I would actually probably rather have the plastic back on the Pixel than the glass on the Nord. Bear in mind the glass looks far superior, but the Pixel 4a's back just feels elegantly smooth. It's just really nice, and it's so soft to the touch that it basically just makes up for the fact that it's plastic. Neither of these have wireless charging, so if you were wondering, because the Nord is glass and the Pixel is plastic, whether or not they have wireless charging or not, nope, neither of them have them. And I wouldn't really expect this at this price range. You'd usually have to step up to around £600, $700 price range to see this in a phone. But yeah, we get a plastic build on the Pixel 4a and a glass one on the Nord. And basically, I do think the Nord is better looking and probably, for a lot of people, probably better built. Maybe you'd want a glass back over plastic. This plastic is pretty durable, I think, though. I've not really dropped it that many times, but I imagine it would be really good for drop resistance. I used to drop my Pixel 3a and the back never like got touched at all, but the front was where the Pixel 3a really fell apart, and that was because it was using Dragon Glass. So I'm happy to say that the Pixel 4a is actually using Gorilla Glass. I think it's Gorilla Glass 3. I may have to check up on that, but basically it's a huge improvement over last year, and I used to just like get so many cracks in that phone, it was ridiculous. Okay, maybe not that many cracks, but it'd get like quite a bit scuffed. But this phone is pretty durable. The OnePlus Nord's probably more likely to shatter and crack because it's using glass on the back and front, but the Pixel, great durability, and so with the OnePlus Nord. Either way, you're going to get a really nice build quality here, but I will say I'd give the edge to the OnePlus Nord. It's glass build instead of plastic. Bear in mind the plastic is really nice in the Pixel 4a. Glass is still more premium than plastic, and the Nord just looks far superior. The blue marble colour is honestly like one of the nicest colours to ever exist on a phone, and the black colour, which is the only colour you can get the Pixel 4a in, is pretty bland. You can also get the OnePlus Nord in grey onyx, but a lot of people just want the blue marble colour, and that's what I'd suggest. But if you're looking to skin your device, I do suggest a company called Extreme Skins. But if you are going to skin your device, I would recommend getting the grey onyx colour, just because it suits skins better, which is something you get with the Pixel. It probably suits skins better because it's black, and it just blends better with skins. But if you're not really a skinner of devices, the OnePlus Nord is, by quite a bit, the better looking phone. Speaking of better, we get the OnePlus Nord's better performance than the Pixel 4a. So yeah, the Pixel 4a has a Snapdragon 730G processor, and the OnePlus Nord has a 765G processor. So basically these two are pretty capable, but the 765G is basically the more mid-range processor, and the 730G is the more lower end or lower mid-range processor. So basically you'll be getting some improved performance here, but on the Pixel you only get 4G. I honestly don't really care that much, but if you are going to keep your phone for 3 years, which both of these companies promise around 3 years of software updates, so that's really nice. More on that later, but basically if you're willing to keep a phone for an extra 3 years, I'd probably go with the Nord just since it has 5G. You also get the promised software updates as well, as Google promised that as well. So yeah, I'd probably go with the Nord for performance. Both processors can play pretty much every game you want it to. Bear in mind the Nord can play on higher graphics settings like PUBG and Call of Duty. You can nearly play on max, so it's quite a lot better on the Nord, but it's still not that substantial, and for day-to-day usage you really won't know a difference. And if you're looking for 5G and future-proofing, Nord is probably the way to go. More on the way to go is, I know a lot of you guys probably have been waiting for this, but here is basically the round where the Pixel absolutely crushes the Nord. The Nord camera is pretty nice, the video is better on the Nord, and also I think still shots are kind of similar on each phone. The Nord tends to oversaturate compared to the Pixel, but it's still some really nice pictures you get from the Nord. But where it all falls apart, and where the Pixel absolutely destroys any phone at this price range, and even upwards of £700, is the camera. So yes, the Pixel camera, we've come to it finally. The bad boy of a camera that everyone loves. Yeah, I can see why, because the Pixel camera, I reviewed the Pixel 3a back in the day, and I liked it. It was pretty nice. The portrait mode was pretty insane actually, but it had this one big flaw, and that was edge detection. So the Pixel 4a has cleaned up on its edge detection, and now it's honestly the best camera by quite a long shot, even better than a lot of the iPhone products. Basically, this is such a great camera. Portrait mode shots come out looking insane. I'm not really that much of a photo guy, so when I buy a Pixel though, it makes me want to take pictures. It's that good. It's just weird. It's honestly such a great camera. Still shots, absolutely glorious, and shots of people are just top notch, and also shots of my dog and things like that. And also night sight, great, absolutely great, both on the front and back cameras. I don't know if it's on the front on the Nord, I don't think it is, so that's quite disappointing compared to the Pixel. But Google pride themselves on having a great camera experience, and that they've not faulted with. Prepare for a camera review coming soon as well for the Pixel 4a, and then my full review. But yeah, the Pixel camera, absolutely glorious. Nord camera, I think better video. One thing I do like about Google is they include this little dongle in the box that is USB-C to USB-A, so I can plug in my external microphone. So yeah, I'm actually recording with a different microphone than I have previously. So yeah, it's quite a good audio and video experience. I do think the mics are better on the Google Pixel 4a as well, so it's kind of personal preference, but I think video better on the Nord, photos quite a bit better on the Pixel. So yeah, one place that the Nord and Pixel aren't really better than each other is software. So the software on both, I actually think, personally, I prefer Oxygen OS, especially with the 90Hz refresh rate. It feels really snappy, really smooth. Personally, that's personal preference though. A lot of people probably prefer stock Android, but I would definitely suggest going into stores if you can in the COVID days. I know we're not really allowed to, but I've got to mention the Nord is not available in North America, so even if you did go to a store in North America, you wouldn't be able to have hands-on with the phone. But either way, if you're in like Europe or Asia or wherever the OnePlus Nord is released, where pretty much everywhere outside of the US, then you should be good to go, and just go into a store, test them out, and see which software experience you'll prefer. Personally, I'm more of a fan of that that really quick and fluid software experience. That's what Oxygen OS provides, but Google stock Android is still a perfectly nice piece of software. Probably more features on that, and you also get really nice features, like I prefer the always on display because it's actually always on, or like the Nord, which just takes the mic and just puts it on when it wants to. That's a bit annoying. And also with the always on display, you can see now playing, it turns the mic on and basically just listens to the outside world, and then basically finds the music that you're listening to and says, hey, here's what the music's called. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice features. You get some nice features like that on the Pixel software experience. But I personally do prefer Oxygen OS, but it's personal preference, as I say. Although already the Pixel is on Android 11. Maybe when you're watching this, the Nord is. But for now, the Pixel is quite a bit ahead of, like, it got it a couple months ago. And all Pixels at the minute should be shipping with Android 11, and basically you'll get 3 years of software updates on both, which is pretty nice, but the Pixels will get the software update first. So if that's something you're on about, like if you review technology or thinking of, and you want to get the latest updates, the latest software updates as quick as possible, then maybe the Pixel's the phone for you, but I would still recommend the OnePlus Nord for software, because I honestly think the software experience is nicer. And you still get the software updates, whether it's like a couple months slower than the Pixel, it won't be anywhere from like 6 months slower than the Pixel. So yeah, software kind of even on both phones. But what isn't even is the battery life. You see these nice segues the next place. If anyone wants to sponsor, then I can do a nice segue to our sponsor, Subway. I'm joking, no. Please, Subway, sponsor me, please. As I was saying, what isn't even is the battery life. So, it's still pretty decent on both, but the OnePlus Nord is still quite far ahead. The OnePlus Nord got me around 8 hours of battery life, which is actually really stunning for a phone. It also has 30-watt fast charging, Warp Charge 30T as OnePlus likes to call it, and the Pixel has 80-watt fast charging, so you're probably shaving around 30 to 40 minutes off the charging time on the Nord compared to the Pixel. It also has a bigger battery capacity at 4,140 mAh compared to 3,140 mAh on the Pixel. So on the Nord you get a bigger capacity, faster charging, and that shaves off like 30-40 minutes, which can actually go quite a long way in the battery experience. But if you are worried about phones overheating, although the Nord was actually perfectly fine, the phone before that, however, the Realme X2 Pro that I reviewed, that got toasty. But both phones are decent for battery life, the Pixel having around 6 hours and the Nord 8 hours. But personally, I would much rather go with the OnePlus Nord if you're going for more battery life, and if that's really important to you, that's your like top priority, then the OnePlus Nord is probably the better pick. Speaking of top picks, see that another segue? I'm just like the best at these. Speaking of top picks, you should probably top pick my videos to your playlist. Or you should like, comment and subscribe. Top pick. So basically, I'm just going to round this up right now. If you want a nice design, a fluid software experience, or more fluid, better performance, and more cameras just so you can brag about it, then the OnePlus Nord is probably the better phone for you. But if you want better cameras, you also want around the same video experience with better microphones, and you also want stock Android, like probably the cleanest version of Android there is, even though I prefer Oxygen OS, you should buy the Pixel. You know, it's a great phone. I will be doing my full review on that soon, but it's kind of up to you. Nord or Pixel, let me know in the comment section below. Personally, I would probably go for the Nord. I'm not really that much of a photo guy, but I do love the pictures coming in from the Pixel. I guess this is Charlie from the future, like a couple of 4 days after, and basically I wanted to welcome on my friend Affan just to give another perspective on this kind of argument, Pixel 4a versus OnePlus Nord, and just so to remove any bias you guys may have been thinking that I have, if you guys do think that, but I don't, but you know. Here's Affan anyway. Affan's going to go over his thoughts and opinions of the OnePlus Nord versus Pixel 4a. So welcome, Affan.
Hey Charlie, thank you for having me. So the OnePlus Nord is an amazing device, and I've been using this device since its debut. This is my primary device, and believe me, this device has been a blessing. So let's begin with the most terrible thing on this phone, and that is the camera. The camera is really terrible. There are a huge amount of lenses for some reason, like the macro lens and the depth sensor. These two cameras are just worthless, and that's one thing where the Pixel 4a really shines. But the wide angle is good, But here's something, the night side is terrible. So if you're looking to shoot good photos overall and like good videos overall, I completely recommend you to go with the Pixel 4a. But here comes the features where the OnePlus Nord actually shines. Let's talk about the specifications. The Snapdragon 765G is super fast. I mean, this chipset is a mid-range chipset, but what I like about it is the operating system, which balances along with it and gives the best performance. So the games that I play are like really smooth. Grand Theft Auto 3 plays like butter, and there are so many games like Among Us and so many other games like Call of Duty that I've spent so much time on, and that is really important in a smartphone. The smooth experience overall really matters. Talking about the smooth experience, let's talk about the Oxygen OS operating system. So I installed the Nova launcher and it gave me a really stock look on the device. And honestly, I really think customization is a really important factor whilst buying an Android phone. And in-built customizations in the OnePlus Nord, just like changing the always on display settings, those are some of the things that really matter, and for me that is perfect. So using the Nova launcher, I really gave this phone a really clean minimalistic look that I really love from the Pixel. And believe me, when slapped on with the extreme skins, this phone looks so clean and minimal, and that's the one reason why I really love its design. Now it's minimalistic instead of the flashy blue that I had on my first review. Also, the other thing, let's talk about the display. So the display on this phone is seriously amazing. The 1080p AMOLED display with 90 Hz does make a difference, and in using everyday apps like Instagram and Twitter, scrolling through feeds and everything, it really does make the whole experience really smooth. One of the things that really changes the whole narrative is the OnePlus Warp Charger. So the OnePlus Warp Charger really charges the phone with 30 watts of power, and I can just charge it up for like 30 minutes and bam, I'm ready to go for the whole day. So yeah, that's the OnePlus Nord, and it is an amazing device, and I think it really does give a fair competition to the Pixel 4a. Back to you, Charlie.
Alright guys, so that was the video of the OnePlus Nord vs Pixel 4a. Let me know which one you'd pick in the comment section below. If you got this far, you probably like the videos, so you know where the subscribe button is. If you guys do like this video, let me know how I can improve, and also just why you like the video in the comment section below, and what your thoughts are on the Pixel 4a versus the OnePlus Nord. So yeah, I'll catch you next one. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out, and even if it takes around 2 seconds in a day just to click that subscribe button and also the like button, and it just tremendously helps me out. So yeah, make sure to do that, and yeah, I'll catch you next one. Bye bye.